So once again, like we said, we're back for 2 p.m. Shomik and Shubhan will join us from Eden Gardens. But Gargi, the main news point from the England press conference is what Jos Butler said about families. That on tour, especially longish tours, families are very, very important. Post COVID, the sensibility over this matter has changed. People's understanding has changed, and things are way different now. The way people look at these issues are fundamentally different post COVID. So, massive statement coming there from Jos Butler in that press conference at the Eden Gardens. Shomik Chakraborty and Shubhan Chakraborty will join us. They will give us more. But your first thoughts, I mean, Jos Butler really making an important point here when he says families. Like I said the other day, that, on a 2 month tour, I don't think there is any scientific proof to show that, families are a negative impact or negative presence and games are affected or performance dips. 100% you can say that you have to travel in a team bus or travel and families will have to travel separately and all of that. Absolutely point taken. But families can't be on tour is a very different proposition altogether. Gargi, first thoughts before I go to Shomik, who's at the Eden Gardens.
I don't see anything wrong with a family traveling with the players. In fact, I think if anything, it gives players that extra cushioning when it comes to mental health or uh, just sometimes cricket gets too much, any sports gets too much, and you need that a family or anyone to sort of fall back on and get your head right. And I don't see anything wrong with having family. They're your family after all. This is why you're doing what you're doing. At the end, everyone's first priority is family. So I'm trying to understand, and I'm finding it very difficult to do so, as to what is the context behind this rule, why they can't stay for prolonged periods of times, because I don't see how a family can affect how someone performs on a field. So this is something I cannot wrap my head around. And what Jos Butler has said is so important. Pat Cummins also talked about this in one of the press conferences in Australia, and he said that because we travel so much, it's such so important to have family around. And it's always nice to see the way that the families gel, and the way that kids are always running around. And that's the whole atmosphere of any team at this point, because post COVID, like you said, there's been a heightened understanding of how important it is to have a support system with players on tour, especially the longer ones, 2 3 months. That's not an easy time to move around the world, play cricket, play high pressure cricket. So Jos Butler is 100% right, and I'll always back players in wanting to travel with their families. And I don't understand where this no families for prolonged periods of time rule is coming from, honestly.
Shomik, what exactly was said and your thoughts on this?
Yeah, Josh was asked about whether, I mean, in the context of this BCCI's new 10-point diktat, whether it is helpful if while on tour, if families are not around. Um, from that point of view, Josh Butler said it doesn't affect having families on tour doesn't affect cricket. He categorically said that, and it said, I mean, in modern times, especially post COVID, um, if if you have your near and dear ones while on tour, that rather helps. Personally, it helps also. So he said that. My take is, I mean, I will not take a side on this, because we have seen things with varied results. In the sense, we cannot categorically say, if we go back in across different sport also, not only it is not restricted to cricket. The Brazilian football team banned the wives and girlfriends of the players during the 2019 Copa America, and they won the tournament. And after the tournament, the players admitted that it helped create a more focused environment. Then we saw, then 1919 World Cup, Pakistan Cricket Board banned the families of the players, and the players are disgruntled, and Pakistan failed to qualify for the semi-finals. So, but then again, as Josh Butler has said, that in modern times things have changed, society has changed, and see, another thing is that if you are not allowing the families of the players on tour, Now these guys, they have got, before COVID it was different. That 14-day cap was always there for tours of 45 days or more. But during COVID it was relaxed, and it has now become a part of their system. So taking, I mean, they have got used to it. So taking that out of their system, that might that might create a little bit of disgruntlement. And we have heard Rohit saying under his breath, and it was sort of a Freudian slip. He was not aware that the mic was turned on, and he spoke to Agarkar about family के बारे में बोल रहा है, तो मेरे को secretary से बात करना पड़ेगा. I think the modern day players, they are more comfortable with their families around while on tour.
Gargi, but there is a lot of scientific, and now I'm wearing my academic hat. There is a lot of scientific material on this. The Brazilian players that Shomik is talking about, physicality is one subject which has been much researched in sport. Whether you should be with your wives or girlfriends, or what you should do, etc., etc. There is no conclusive proof. So a lot of coaches have banned physicality and physical intercourse and all of that. But there is absolutely no conclusive proof that it enhances performance or impacts performance in a negative way. Rather, the point that Shomik just mentioned about COVID, it is also about mental health. It is also about a young family 2 months away from the family. It is how you grew up. Tendulkar once told me, and this was one day after the World Cup win, we were both sitting at the BKC, and just having, I think, having coffee or something, and all of a sudden he was kind of distracted, and he said, "You know what? When Arjun grew up, I don't know." I said, "Meaning?" He said, "I did not see Arjun growing up. How he has grown so tall, I actually don't know." And he looked at me and he said, whenever you have a child, make sure you're with the child, and don't just miss the young few years, because you will then regret that I have not seen my child grow. Now, these are important points. Sport cannot be looked upon in isolation in any way. Sport is very much a prism of life. Ultimately, the presence of your wife, the presence of your child in a long and grueling tour is essential. So I don't get this. I've been saying this from day one. Yes, I agree that no player can say I will travel in a different bus or a car or a whatever. There, if the family agrees to come on tour, it is contingent that the family makes provision for its own arrangements. Absolutely no problem. Absolutely no issues with that. In fact, should be done. But to say no, family we will not allow, or after 14 days we will not allow. So how are you allowing for 14 days? So those 14 days, do you think performance will not be impacted or will be impacted? Then you are saying, what is the scientific basis of this 14-day rule? This is like quarantine. How is it that this 14-day rule is being imposed? What is the basis, Gargi? This is, and Shomik, this is what I'm trying to understand here. And Jos Butler, I think, makes an absolutely fundamental point that you are in fact telling the player that you don't have the freedom off the field to be with your family, and be in a good mental space. Where do you stand on this, guy?
Like I said, I can't wrap my head around what the context behind this rule is. Uh, because we're looking at it from a very supportive perspective, where we're seeing that these tours can be grueling, these tours can be brutal. Not to mention that you're playing for a team like India. If it was a different team, I think the pressures, uh, playing for India is a different ball game altogether, especially if you're playing cricket for India. And there's just so much pressure on these players. They're surrounded by so much media, public, whatever you want to call it. There's just so much attention on them. At the end of the day, they are humans outside of the sport. They are a person outside of the field, and they have responsibilities as well outside of the field. Now, you look back on Rohit Sharma going back home for the birth of his child, missing the first test, and look at the way that people reacted to that. Don't you see a point there, or a pattern there, with the fact that there is a little bit of a toxic mentality here, that people think that families can be a distraction, when in fact family can be a great support system for a player on tour. And like Shomik also mentioned, uh, that example in football, that the wags and their presence made the tournament better. It does help. And I think it's I still don't agree with the fact that families should not be traveling, or families should only be allowed to be with the players for this certain time or this time frame. It's just something that
So,
I will
so
never get.
suppose a young mother is playing for
Exactly.
whichever team. So you mean to say you will not let the child travel?
Exactly.
You will not let the mother breastfeed, or you will not let the mother take the child along. So you are trying to say that, oh, you know what, for men and women we will make a different rule, and a mother will not be able to travel with a 1 year old child or a 2 year old child if she makes it back in sport. Are you for real? Are you for real? Which world do you live in? What do you mean you can't travel? Who has said this, and why? I mean, by the way, these are young people and not the most intelligent. I mean, people are vulnerable. They are not superhumans. We make them into superhumans. They are not. They are very average people who have a certain skill set, which is playing sport. That's it. So to all of a sudden says we will take families out of them and make them vulnerable in the in a certain way. I just don't get it, Shomik. I mean, will you tell the same thing to corporates? Will you say the same thing to people from any other profession, not sport? Will you say to me as an academic, as a scholar, or a corporate, or a banker, or a, I don't know, scientist, or a whatever? Will you say no, 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 don't travel with family? Why is it separate for sport? For what? I mean, physical intercourse, I understand that, okay, this might impact performance, but as I said, I edit Sport in Society, where we have published enormous amount of scientific research on the subject. There is nothing to have any kind of conclusive proof. Shomik, where do you stand on this?
See,
One second. Rajiv Bagwari, you're a journalist on some payroll or whatever. Don't talk like an idiot. Firstly, nobody is on the. It's not payroll, it's payroll. Secondly, nobody is on the payroll of anybody. And if anybody has made derogatory comments, tell me what derogatory comments. If somebody has criticized Rohit for lack of performance, he's 100% entitled to doing so. Anything else you want me to answer, tell me. We've criticized Virat, we've criticized Rohit, we will criticize everybody. If no one performs, we are entitled to criticizing. And so nobody is on. So don't come to my show and talk nonsense. I don't want viewers who don't understand the veracity and the significance of a show. Yes, Shomik.
see, basically sports associations, and it is not exclusive to the BCCI. They are basically reactive, and they have a tendency uh, to react when I mean things don't fall into place after a poor performance. It is not exclusive to the BCCI. Strict parenting. It is not exclusive to the BCCI. I think you obviously remember during 2006 World Cup, how when the likes of Victoria Beckham, Colin Rooney went to Baden-Baden, and how they made that Baden-Baden a paparazzi circus. And as that golden generation failed, eh, if they resorted to strict parenting and stricter measures were imposed for the 2010 World Cup. So there was a limit of stay for the families of the players. It is very similar what BCCI has been doing. See, post COVID or during COVID and post COVID, as long as India were winning, everyone was happy with that. There is a, I mean, the thing is that there is a school of thought that if you have families around, then team bonding might be affected. At the same time, earlier, what used to happen, you haven't seen it, Gargi, but when we are just starting out, there it was called that when you are on tour, your teammates are your family, and the teams used to have Sunday clubs and all. Now this is gone. Now every player has their entourage, and they are comfortable with their family. You have to change with the time. If India wouldn't have suffered back-to-back series defeats against New Zealand and Australia, nothing was going to happen, as because they suffered and dressing room leaks came out, stuff like that. Team bonding was called into question. This is a reactive measure from the BCCI. I repeat, this is not exclusive to the BCCI. This has been a straight trend set for a lot of sports associations.
Shubhan, my question, like I asked Gargi, was simple. This is a gender equal age. The International Olympic Committee has made it a gender equal thing. Every sport, over time, gender equal, right? Now, will you say that a mother who has made a comeback, Nisma Marufa case in point, a mother who has come back after 1 year, Mary Kom, or whoever. So you mean to say the mother will not breastfeed? The mother will not carry the child with, the mother will not have the right to carry the child, or is it only about men? How are you saying this? What is the scientific? You can make a rule. Team bonding, Virat Kohli will not travel with family in a chartered flight or whatever flight. I get that. I absolutely get that. But how can you say families will not be with? Post COVID? It is a different world. Mental health is a subject of enormous importance in our world. In the past, these sensibilities were not there. This whole thing about I will come back for the birth of my child. That is why people say Mr. Gavaskar had not seen, Saurav had not seen, MS Dhoni had not seen. But that doesn't make Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma's actions wrong. No, it doesn't. Today, if Shubhan Chakraborty says, I will not come back for the birth of my child, doesn't make Shubhan a hero or a villain. It is his call. It is his personal call and a personal space that one has to respect. So I absolutely get what Jos Butler is saying about the importance of families on tour. Where do you stand on this, Shubhan?
But yeah, I think it's the difference of culture, in my opinion. As I have said in our earlier shows as well, if you look at an Australian team or a South African team, or an English team for that matter, when they finish a match, when their entire families come to the ground to celebrate a win or to be with their families and friends, you see a unity, you see a close. It's like a close knit family, where all the wives, all the girlfriends, all the kids are mingling with each other, talking, having a good time out there. But that's not the culture in Indian setup, in my opinion. That is very different to what we have seen over the last 5 6 7 8 years, or the last decade or so. That yes, the players bring in their families, the coaching staff bring in their families, but we never see them together. Yes, a partner here or there may be good friends, but not all of them gel together or be with the team together. That's not in our culture, in my opinion. And if you look at Sanju Samson's Instagram story yesterday, the entire Indian team had a very good team bonding session. They had a dinner together. They had a karaoke session together where Sanju Samson, Abhishek Nair was singing songs. All the players were singing songs, and that did not happen. See, the team has been here in Kolkata for the last 2 3 days, and within those 2 3 days, we have seen one great team bonding exercise where all the seniors, all the juniors, all the coaching staff get to know each other more off the field, how they, what their likings are, what their dislikings are. But during the entire 2 month tour, we did not see one such team bonding session within the Indian team. Only one team dinner happened when Jay Shah visited Brisbane for to talk about Olympics with the Cricket Australia and the Brisbane Olympics Committee. That's the only team dinner where the entire team came together, all the families came together. But that was the only occasion, and that too to because Jay Shah was there, and they can't refuse Jay Shah. That was the only thing, and that is why I think, and had a Surya's family been here, or an Akshar's family been here, or a Sanju Samson's family been here, they would have said, I have had a long day today. I want to be with my family for a couple of hours. I can't be in the team dinner. That's the kind of culture we have. We don't have the culture where they will say, "Arey, chalo, we'll bring your families also, bring your kids also, let's all gel together." That's not in our culture. So I think Gautam Gambhir or Ajit Agarkar, whoever's decision it was, I firmly feel it is Gautam Gambhir's footprint in all the 10 pointers that we have seen. That is to make the players, as Shomik said, that the team is your family in tours, and they have not discarded the families on tours. They have just limited the number of days they can stay with the tour. If it's a 45-day tour, 2 month tour, you can bring in your family for a couple of weeks just to relax, and that couple of weeks period can be decided by the player. I don't think there's any issue as long as the players understand the gravity of the importance of having a great team chemistry among each other. And I think that is what was missing in Australia, that we did not see. We saw the teams in batches. Rohit is with some other players, Kale is with some other players, Jadeja is roaming around with some other players, the youngsters, Sarfaraz and all are roaming with other players. So the team was a bit divided there. Here we are seeing the entire team come together and celebrate a night, have team dinner. And when you don't have family, you don't have anything to do after cricket. Where you will do? Jadeja will say, okay, I'll call up a youngster, I'll go with him. So that makes a senior junior environment a bit better. That's what I want to say. But I think it differs. It differs. Cultural differences make a very solid argument whether you want to have families or not.
But Shubhan, the fundamental difference here is in this T20 setup. We don't have any big egos or the galacticos. It becomes completely different when
But
you
but
have
but
galacticos
but but
and some
Shomik
of
the
the
Hardik Pandya is a big player. Sanju Samson has his own following. Sanju Samson has his own following. Akshar
absolutely,
Patel is
but
a
they
big
are
player.
not
He's a
in the context. Yes, I understand, Shubhan, but in the context of Indian cricket, they are not global stars. I mean, they are not galacticos. And some of the wives and girlfriends, they are celebrities in their own right, also.
right.
Right. So, so from that point of view, it is easier for the team management to have, as we saw yesterday. I mean, Abhishek Nair and Sanju Samson singing together, sharing a mic, right? It is all nigh on impossible in a test match or even an ODI setup because there
And
will
that
always
is
be.
what Gautam Gambhir wants to change. That is what Gautam Gambhir wants to change. Why can't a Rohit Sharma sit with a say Yash Dayal and sing a song together or have a dinner together? Why can't a Virat Kohli sit with a Nitish Kumar Reddy and have a good meal together? That is the culture that
Indian,
Gautam Gambhir wants to break.
Indian cricket hierarchy has been the name of the game in Indian cricket since its inception, since 1932. It would be almost impossible to for Gautam Gambhir to change the culture, uh, at least until the big players hanging up their boots. If
And
he
and
has a new
and
team, he's
with yesterday's video, is Gautam Gambhir or Sanju Samson or Abhishek Nair, whoever has posted that video or has told someone to post that video, are they wanting to show that without senior players, without those big egos, this dressing room is a different beast
see
altogether.
that
They can all play together.
this hierarchy culture has been set in Indian cricket in the 1930s by the Maharajas, the Maharaja of
Hmm,
Patiala, the Maharaja of Porbandar, stuff like that.
hmm,
And
hmm,
gradually it had a trickle down effect. Tiger Pataudu never sat with, although a lot of people consider him as the greatest ever India captain, he never he never sat with one of his juniors. He even, as the story goes, he even asked for a light from Gopal Bose, and Gopal Bose
hmm.
refused to get him, and that put paid to Gopal Bose's chances of playing cricket for Test match for India. So that, as the story
But
goes,
I think
it
Nawab
is
of
not
Pataudi or Maharaja of
it's
Vijayanagaram,
not
things have changed a
not
lot from
Nawab
there.
Padal.
We are
Even
not in the
after that,
50s.
even during the time of Sunil Gavaskar, then Azharuddin,
Hmm.
even during the when Greg Chappell entered the dressing room, he said the biggest problem in this dressing room is the hierarchy culture.
But
So
but
it has been
within that hierarchy culture, a Harbhajan Singh or a young Yuvraj Singh or a young Zahir Khan could go and
exactly
joke around with a
because
Saurav Ganguly who was the ultimate boss in that team, or with a Sachin Tendulkar. They could prank around and have that fun moments with each other, which is not the case right now.
yes,
I can't imagine a
yes,
young player who has just walked into the dressing room and to go and prank a Virat Kohli. It is not possible in this team environment, and that is what Gautam Gambhir wants to break. Is what I'm
So tell me, Shubhan, under Ravi Shastri when India had unprecedented success.
saying. Hmm.
So what was the culture? Same players were there. You were
Hmm.
winning. You were winning overseas series, hard series. Virat Kohli was around. Rohit Sharma was around. Ajinkya Rahane was around. 2018, 2021. What has changed? What has gone down? Virat Kohli has become a bigger star that he doesn't interact. What has changed in Virat Kohli? Has Virat Kohli changed? Has Rohit Sharma changed? 2019. I've seen multiple tours where Rohit has take Rishabh Pant. Rohit has taken Rishabh Pant under his wing and gone out for dinners. Even in Australia, during that COVID period, also they went out for dinner they would socialize. What has changed? What has changed in these superstars? Have things changed? Because India was winning, nobody said a word. 2021, 2024, 2 years, 3 years. So under Ravi Shastri, this same team we have seen, and these same boys, Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma were global superstars. If anything, Virat Kohli could do no wrong at that point in time. Now he can be criticized. Now you are not getting trolled if you say Virat Kohli has does not performed in the last 4 years. 5 million of his fans are not abusing you together. 2 years back, had you said it, you would be taken to task. What happened after that WTC final when I said he didn't perform, people were starting to criticize and abuse. So what has changed? What has changed that Gautam is trying to impose this culture, or trying to, and is this a formula? Is this a formula for better performance? Ultimately, the story has to be better performance. Is this a formula for better performance?
Boryada, during Ravi Shastri's time, all the players, Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, Cheteshwar Pujara, Ajinkya Rahane, the core team, Umesh Yadav, Mohammad Shami, Ishant Sharma, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, Ravindra Jadeja, Ravichandran Ashwin, they were at the peak of their playing prowess. They were at their peak. The form, the age was in their side. Everyone was doing well with the bat. You knew that out of five big players, at least a Pujara will play or Rahane will rescue you. If not Rahane, then Rishabh Pant down the order will do something magical. Hardik Pandya was there in the test setup for a while as well, and he did really reasonably well. I think age is one factor, form is one factor. That has changed a lot in Indian cricket. As we compare Ravi Shastri's era with Gautam Gambhir's era, I think that has made a very strong point. Rohit Sharma right now, Virat Kohli is right now is not the same Virat Kohli or a Rohit Sharma that they were in 2018, 2017, 2019. Rohit Sharma is not the same Rohit Sharma who smacked five centuries in the 2019 ODI World Cup. He's a very very different player right now. His numbers have come down. His template has changed. The fitness and levels have gone down a bit. Same with Virat Kohli. I think he we can talk about his fitness, but again, father time spares no one. His reflexes have slowed down. His reflexes have slowed down, and we have to accept it. So, and this team is in a transition. That team, Ravi Shastri's team, was a settled team. You knew that what your top five or top six would be. You knew that okay, Rohit Sharma is opening along with this player.
So
Virat will come at four.
going by that logic, Shubhan, going by that logic, you are now seeing the players at a relatively insecure and vulnerable state, so I'll attack.
Exactly. Boria, and isn't that natural? When two lions fight for their territory, one older lion, the younger lion, no, I can beat this guy. He's not the king anymore.
Okay.
I'll come there, and
So
that older lion will become vulnerable. He will become extra aggressive. Oh, he's coming for my territory. I'll have to do. He'll start panicking. That is what is happening
So,
in my opinion.
two alpha males during the Anil Kumble territory or the Anil Kumble tenure, Virat Kohli won that battle hands down. You are saying, okay, the battle has evened out because these people have aged and they are no longer the same performers. So this is happening. Okay, let me take Shomik and Gargi's opinion on that. By the way, leaks, and we are talking about leaks. You just need to go and see the back cover of my book, 11 Gods and a Billion Indians. Till date, nobody knows who got it, but I had put out the letter which was signed by Sachin Lakshman and who was it? Sachin Lakshman and I think Saurav, right? Part of the advisory
Correct.
committee. Yes. So Sachin Lakshman and Saurav saying Anil Kumble should be coach. And the next day Anil Kumble was gone. The next day Anil Kumble was gone. All
I
three
think
of them signed that
COA
letter.
also gave that ultimate power to Virat Kohli at that time. Vinod Rai was a Virat Kohli fanboy. Virat was at his peak, the greatest batter we have ever seen. The form, the kind
Absolute
of form
fanboy.
that the same time Rohit Sharma is not the had he been smacking five centuries or three centuries in Australia, I don't think Gautam Gambhir would have that gut to even say question Rohit Sharma's place as a captain or as a leader or question his methods of captaincy. Right now, Rohit Sharma is not that Rohit Sharma we knew from 2019 World Cup. He's a different Rohit Sharma altogether. So Gautam Gambhir can come and say Rohit Sharma's place is not like what MS Dhoni did after coming into captaincy. ये तीन player मेरे system में fit नहीं बैठते. I think the Gautam Gambhir is trying to do the same, but he's taking on two of the biggest superstars in Indian.
Shomik, before I go to Gargi,
I think it is my personal opinion that the star culture, the superstar culture hasn't changed. The way to manage the superstar, that has changed. I mean, you know how tension had been shimmering during Ravi Bhai's time, how tension had been shimmering between the two biggest stars, Virat and Rohit. And one day, Ravi Bhai called both of sat them down and told them, yes, ab band karo. Right? And the fact of the matter is that both of them trusted Ravi Bhai. Both of them trusted Ravi Bhai. And now, in the current setup, do the coach and the two biggest stars in Indian cricket have that kind of chemistry, that kind of mutual trust? That is the biggest question. Ravi Bhai, Ravi Bhai's brilliance lay in the fact, despite being a celebrity cricketer followed by a celebrity um, commentator, he knew how to keep himself in the back seat, how to take the backstage, how to take the back seat, and put the players on the limelight. Ravi Bhai was there for so many years. I mean, rarely did he appear for press conferences. Rarely. Now, this is the time, and Ravi Bhai is a celebrity in his own right. That is how a cricket coach works. Currently, we don't see that, and that might be a problem.
Dargi, where do you stand on this? Where do you stand on this? Shubhan's point about relatively weakened players in terms of their performance allows this to happen from the standpoint of a coach who wants to assert control. Suppose there is a next big superstar. Will there be a pushback? Where do you stand on this?
I completely agree with Shubhan. I think that has always been the case when a player is untouchable in the sense of performance, like you had seen Virat Kohli in Ravi Shastri's era. I don't think anyone would have the guts to say something to a Virat Kohli, especially in red ball cricket and what he had done for red ball cricket at that point, the way that he transformed that team into something Indian cricket had never seen. So, again, reiterating Shubhan's point that if it was a Virat Kohli once again or a Rohit Sharma performing the way that we had seen them in their prime, I don't think this would be happening right now. I think Rohit Sharma would have all the power, and Gautam Gambhir would not be trying to push back and take control of whatever is going on, or uh, everything that's happening on and off the field. It looks like a mess from the outside, honestly. And I think at the moment there's this one a lack of that sort of extreme power in the dressing room, which a Virat Kohli was, which a Rohit Sharma used to be. And that's why Gautam Gambhir, a personality like Gautam Gambhir, comes in, who's incredibly bold, who's not afraid of taking offbeat decisions, and he's just doing what he does best. He's taking control.
Buryada,
Okay.
another point I want to mention here, if you look at Real Madrid and when Cristiano Ronaldo moved from Real to Juventus, you saw a different Fiorentino Perez, who is the president of Real Madrid. He used to back Ronaldo when he was scoring goals, when he was winning Ballon d'Ors. But as soon as he moved to Juventus, the numbers came down a bit during his last season. And when he moved to Juventus, Fiorentino Perez said he's a selfish man. He used to push us to give him Ballon d'Ors and such kind of statements came from Perez there. So when the player is at the peak, like Virat Kohli was at his peak or a Rohit Sharma was at his peak, none of the BCCI president or a Ravi Shastri or whoever the coach was in the past touched them. But as soon as the numbers came down, you started questioning their methods, you have started questioning their spots in the
When
team.
the players
Uh,
became vulnerable,
yeah,
when the players
yeah,
became
yeah,
vulnerable.
and that is the case. That has been the case, I think, across sports, across
But
sports.
but Shubhan, again, there is a counterpoint to this. Mahendra Singh Dhoni was at his peak 2011. To all credit to Mr. Srinivasan, he was still the boss.
Hmm.
2012, when Mohinder Amarnath and the rest of the fellows wanted to remove Mahendra Singh Dhoni, it was Mr. Srinivasan who protected. You will always see a BCCI president and a captain working in tandem. However
Hmm.
much we talk about Saurav Ganguly, there's no Saurav Ganguly story without a Jagbon Dalmia story.
Hmm.
There
Hmm.
is no story.
Hmm.
And there was this common phrase, you will ring 033. You will call Dalmia, and Dalmia will do what he will do. So
Hmm.
a Dalmia and a Ganguly, fable. A Srinivasan and a MS Dhoni, fable. That's how Indian cricket has operated. Jai is
But at the
powerful.
same time,
Now that Jai has moved to ICC, is he going to do the same in BCCI? Will he still sort of micromanage BCCI? Is a question. Will that work? Because till the time Jai was all powerful before ICC, frankly, none of this happened.
hmm,
All this started happening after December and January. All this nonsense has started coming out. Last couple of years, when Jai was handling BCCI, to credit to him,
hmm,
hands on, we did not see leaks. All of this have started happening the moment. So you want a powerful BCCI as well. At this
Hmm.
point in time, Roger Binney, with due credit to Roger, he's a a legend of the game. Who knows Roger Binney is even president?
Hmm.
With due credit to Roger, it has not been Roger Binney's board. It was Jay Shah's board.
Hmm.
Now, whose board is it? Is it Devajit Saikia's board? Is it Roger Binney's board? Is it whose board? Or is it still Jay Shah's board? Are we
Hmm.
seeing a power struggle there as well? Of course, Jay is all powerful. But these are important questions because frankly, this will decide the direction of Indian cricket. And a lot of people are asking, but why? So the fact is, if for this, a couple of players do not perform to their best in England and India loses, this becomes the central talking point. So you
Hmm.
have to get off the field right as much as you get on field right. If I'm mentally, so I'll give you my own example. At one point when my father died, I used to hate being in a room alone. I used
Hmm.
to think the room was coming in on me. I just couldn't be in that room alone in Oxford. I could not. Oxford is the most beautiful place on earth. I mean,
Hmm.
I was on a Rhodes scholarship, this, that. I had everything. The moment I would step into my college room, I would feel claustrophobic. I had to have Shomishta with me. Otherwise, I'd go mad. So, and there are people who need that kind of, for their mental well-being. Now it's a different case because I've obviously overcome that trauma. But
Hmm.
it is essential that you don't make a blanket rule. Suppose you are down. Suppose something happens to or someone's unwell. You've got to be there. Anyway, this is a
But
local.
Boriana, that time you could not pick up your phone and video call for Mr. D, right? Nowadays you can do that and at least have that presence.
True, true. I used to. You're right. I used to buy phone cards for £10 and practically spend my entire stipend calling her from a public phone. And
But
those
now
were
you can
times.
WhatsApp for free.
Now
You
you
can
can
WhatsApp
WhatsApp
for
and call and do video call and all that. Yeah, that technology has enabled you to do that. So those are different things now. Anyway, coming to the other thing. Uh, my point also is these are young people like you guys. You are 30, Shwet Gargi. For young people not to be with family, is that something significant? We'll come to that. But what are the other talking points from the Jos Butler press conference? Shomik, Shubha, and both of you were there before I also take comments from Gargi. What are the other news points from their press conference?
In other news points, in the sense, I asked him about this lopsided schedule, given that you are playing a Champions Trophy in a month's time, and your this current white ball roster has 5 T20Is and 3 ODIs, which defies logic in the sense. It feels like you have a few T20Is too many at the expense of a couple of ODIs. That, but then again, T20Is fill the coffers for the cricket boards. Josh Butler, being a nice guy, he was a good sport. He said, "I don't have any complaints with the schedule, and it would be an exciting T20I series." Regarding team news, he said Phil Salt will open. He will keep wicket. James Smith will have to sit out in the first game. And as Brendan McCallum is starting out as England's white ball coach, this is his first series as white ball coach. He has been around as in that red ball setup, but Butler stresses upon building a good alliance with the coach in white ball cricket also. So basically, these are the major highlights from the press conference.
Okay, so to sum up this show, and we'll close now, and we will be back at 5 p.m. with three central points. Shubhan, you will break, tell me, and show me both of you. You've already put out some tweets and sent me on personal details as to what is happening, but I need more on why is this whole BCCI take on jersey. Why is India refusing to put Pakistan's name on the Champions Trophy jersey? What is the story? It is not mandatory, is known, and that's a fact. It is not mandatory. It is practice, but not mandatory. And BCCI is well within its rights to do so. But how did this happen? Where did this come from? Whose idea was it? Is this also a soft power statement? Is this a diplomatic statement on the part of India? Let us debate that. Number one. Number two question that we want to address: people playing Ranji Trophy all of a sudden. Virat Kohli one game, someone one game against Meghalaya. Rohit Sharma will play on the 30th against Mumbai versus Meghalaya. Meghalaya for all people, what practice will that be? And is this tokenism or is this a serious structural change? That is the second question that I'm asking. Is this tokenism? All of a sudden, everybody wanting to jump into the bandwagon and play Ranji Trophy for one game and prove a point, or is this total nonsense? Number three
Mumbai is
is
playing Jammu Kashmir.
that is tomorrow.
Yeah.
30th, who are they playing? I think Meghalaya,
30th,
no?
30th. It is not yet known whether Yashasvi and Rohit will play that match.
I think that is a game against
And
Meghalaya.
30 is away from home
So
also.
we'll I mean, are these great teams for practice or whatever? And the third question I'm asking for 5 p.m. is uh, number one, very important. 3 days to go for Pakistan. 3 days to go for Pakistan to hand over stadiums. What is the ground reality? Is Pakistan even remotely close in Lahore to hand over the stadium to the ICC? Or has the bubble burst? Has the bubble burst in Pakistan in terms of handing over stadiums? These are the three questions I am asking straight on for 5 p.m. Shomik and Shubhan are at Eden Gardens. Teams are practicing, so I'll let them go. But before that, Gargi, I'll leave you with the final words. This whole thing, somebody is saying I am backing players. Shubhan is the more. Shomik and I are backing players, and he supports Shubhan. You are welcome to support any one of us. We will also debate and discuss. Don't worry. So ours is a happy dressing room because we keep winning. But Gargi will give you the final word on this.
That was a good one. But yes, we all have different opinions and we don't shy away from disagreeing with it. But my opinion is of the fact that players should have the option to have their families, be it for 5 days, be it for 10 days, or the entire tour. I don't think there should be a cap on how long a family member can stay, or how long they can, like you said, the other rules, traveling in a team bus, traveling in the same flight, all of those are completely valid. But if a family is traveling on their own money or whatever, I don't see why there should be a cap on how long they can stay or not. I think it's very important and fundamental for any player's mental health to have a support system during touring.
So we'll close there. We'll close there. By the way, we will cover all of domestic cricket. Naman will cover from Mumbai the Jammu Kashmir match. Gargi will cover Virat Kohli's and Rishabh Pant's game in Delhi as well. I think all of those games. So we will cover as much domestic cricket as possible. What Rev Sports is like IPL, Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, koi bhi jeete, India to jeete, 100%, 100%. Rev
And
Sports to
our
jeeta rahega.
and our own Shubhan would be at Kalyani for Bengal game.
100%. Shubhan
वो
to
तो बाड़ी
has
बात
never.
है।
He will say he has not
वो तो
brought
स्टेडियम
hammer
से
for the longest time, so it's now his responsibility to bring that.
ওটা
So
বাড়ির ছাদে বসে কভার করে নিতে পারবে, দেখতে পাবে।
ও ছাতেই বসে থাকবে, ও
तो
ছাতেই
3
বসবে,
মাস তো
দিয়ে
ছিলাম না, 3 মাস তো
শীতকালে
ছিলাম
বেশি
না,
ইউজ করবে,
এলা।
শীতকালে বেশ মানে একটা বিউটিফুল ওয়েদার, হিল দিয়ে ওখানে বসে বসে দেখবে। Anyway, we'll close the show on this note, but Shubha and Shomik, both of you must have the fish fry and the aloo dum in that canteen. Yesterday I
Yes,
ওইটাই
missed it.
yes.
যাচ্ছি এখন, লাঞ্চ করতেই যাচ্ছি।
Go. I
এখন
badly
ওটাই
missed
যাচ্ছে
it because
শক্তিকান্ত।
the CAB said some fancy food, all this nonsense. I should have gone and had my fish fry and aloo dum and bread.
কোয়ালিটি অফ ফিশ ফ্রাইটা খুব খারাপ হয়ে গেছে। ফিশ ফ্রাইটা খুব খারাপ হয়ে গেছে।
Kargi, you are in a daze because you don't have the fish fry, so I understand that. But you must try the aloo dum and the toast when you are next at Eden Gardens. It's mind blowingly good. Okay, folks, on that note, we will be back at 5 p.m. with the three questions that we are asking. Shomik, Shubhan, your responsibility to get me as much information on this jersey story. It's a good story. I think it's a clear snub to Pakistan. It's a display of soft power. It is what sport should be about.
Very
It is
good.
a soft power statement, and BCCI has found that loophole and played it beautifully. It's not mandatory. It is a practice, not mandatory. Thanks for watching, folks. Back at 5 p.m.